Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Sacred Exchange, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. I'm Catherine.
And I'm John.
And today we are going to talk about sides. Yes. Whose side are you on?
Yes. And sides and positionalities, and let's rewind how we came to this topic. There's a lot of things that came up this week where it was like versus is what I kept coming with.
Versus, right? Yeah.
It was like, we're in the World Series, Blue Jays versus the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And somebody at work did this Kitchener versus Cypress, and there's a few other.
We were also in conversation with people about sides in relationships, like whose side are you on? And I think we all go through this where, you're talking to someone who's in a relationship with someone and they tell you their side of the story. And everybody always wants other people to agree with them, to be on my side, and show your support that you're on my side. And it was a conversation we were having around Thanksgiving and a fight that had happened between two people that we know, and hearing kind of what both sides were standing on. And I was on a side, right? I was like, this is how it should be. And you were going, well, they're both correct. Like, they're both coming from their spaces that they're coming from. And even if you don't agree with it, they're both just, speaking their truth and speaking their awareness. And I had a hard time with that. I was like, no, you need to be on my side on this.
And we do that, right? We want that buy-in. We want that person on our side. And I'm just like, well, you don't really need to be on any side.
Yeah.
Right?
And I've been thinking about it too. We're told right from very young, about these kind of different sides that we can be on, right? It's boys versus girls. It's, even in
the
schools.
Rich versus poor, black versus white.
This religion versus that religion. And there's always a correct side of things to be on and a wrong side of being on. And I think really what it comes down to is that innate desire to just belong, right?
Yeah.
And it can be so hard because I find for myself a lot of my thinking, and I know you've felt this way too, where it's a lot of my thinking is different than the population.
Yeah.
The way I see the world is different than the population. And I used to think I was in the wrong side for having these different thoughts or beliefs about the way things are, and so wanting to belong to what everybody else is thinking, but then also feeling like it's a disconnection from myself to try and belong,
to be on that side,
to be on a side. It was almost like it doesn't even matter what side I'm on as long as I belong somewhere. And I feel like for a lot of people, we're always looking for what side can I be on, especially in this world that keeps creating more and more division for all of us.
And that's kind of what I think gets me away from wanting to pick a side is more of, what if the side you pick is the wrong side?
If there's a world of wrong and right,
Right. So, so say you spent your life being on this side, thinking it's the right side, and it's the wrong side. Or it's not the side you should be on, but you bought into whatever you bought into to be on this side.
Yeah.
You've now created such a position on this side, you can't even see what else is available.
Yeah.
It's because you've hardened yourself to this is my belief system, instead of just opening it up and saying it's okay for everybody to believe what they want to believe. Mm-hmm. I don't have to pick a side.
Yeah.
I can observe both sides, and you can be more I guess, drawn to a side, but you don't have to necessarily stay on that hard line.
You don't have to be hardened by it. And I feel like that's where a lot of us go is with our belief systems, which are essentially things that we've made up, that we go, I believe in this, right? But we then create a very hard kind of box around it to go nothing else.
You don't get into this box, or you don't get into this side,
and you don't get to be included, you don't get to belong with this, and it's really just kind of fascinating how the belief systems, they are imaginary. There's no factual proof beyond or behind belief systems, although you might have scientific reasons to believe what you believe, or experiences that have told you, okay, believe this or whatever. But if you're not, I mean, I think we started our unlearning process back in 2020, and probably prior to that, we just didn't language it as that, where we started questioning, like, why do I believe this? Why am I on this side? Why have I chosen this side? Especially when it comes to sides where it's like, this isn't even helping me.
Yeah.
Like, why am I choosing to believe in something that's not even helpful? Like, that doesn't make sense, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, why? And this other interesting thing is why do people stay on a certain side, right? Why do people are so tied to their beliefs that this is the only way?
Well, I think we get identified with our beliefs, right? Like, that this is the hill I'm willing to die on, essentially. And that sentence has come up for me so often over the past 2 weeks, where I'm asking myself, is this a hill I'm willing to die on? Like, is my conviction in this totally right? Or is it something where it's like, does this actually matter? Am I willing to die on this?
Yeah.
And it's interesting to keep hearing that, and just allowing myself to kind of face that part of me that's like, no, we've got to hold on to this belief or this stance or whatever it might be, and then go, okay, is that truly what I want?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and where is that coming from? Is it an egoic part of me? Is it a wounded part of me? Or is there something deeper that's actually coming through me that I have to, like, that this is a hill that you're willing to die on?
Yeah. And I've heard the saying many times, you know, is this the hill that you're willing to die on? And it's just like, there's so many things that people are willing to die for, right? Like, even just this baseball game where people are so passionate about it, and I get it, and it's a great thing. It's amazing. I think the most amazing thing is how much it brings everybody together.
Absolutely.
All of those positionalities and all of those things dissipate, and everybody's focused on a common thing, right?
Yeah.
A common game is what this is.
Yeah.
And that's it. And, you know, when you and I were talking earlier about how great it is that people are coming together, and it's just too bad that we can't find that common thread just in life.
Well, and
that it has to be an event.
Yes.
To put our sides, our positionalities
to the side. But like last night, because we went up to a pub last night and we caught Game 6 with a crowd of people, and it didn't go in the way that we wanted it to, and that's okay. We've got Game 7 tonight. We're all wearing our blue to represent. And because we're not going to share what side we're on, but we'll wear our blue. But we were talking about the kind of unity of all of these different people all coming together, all just to watch the baseball game. Yeah. And you're right, it is beautiful, this unity that it brings together. And then I started thinking about, because I was thinking, you know, wouldn't it be great if we could just always be like this? Mm-hmm. But it's almost like there's only certain events that we allow ourselves to see, like, look at us all bonding together for a Blue Jays game. Because there's other time, and Dodgers, a Blue Jays and Dodgers game.
We both have blue, so.
Yeah. But it was kind of this awareness last night of like, so even when I go grocery shopping,
yes,
that we're all there for a common goal, right? To feed our families, to feed ourselves, to nurture ourselves. So instead of getting like overwhelmed by the amount of people at the grocery store to look at all of us here for the same commonality. Same with Christmas shopping. We've got that season coming up, and everybody gets all weirded out by the amount of people out at Christmas time shopping and whatnot. And it is a little bit more stressful, but could we see all of the people that are binding together with one sole purpose, right? And then to look at all of us humans on this planet, we're all here for the same purpose. And sometimes we forget what that purpose is, right? But it does bring us back to that unity if we can see past what the divisions are. And I think we've been so programmed to look for what is different, right? Not what brings us all together. It's what is different. Oh, this person's going slower than I am, and this person's taking longer at the checkout, or whatever it might be. And we go, this is a problem, and this is a problem, and this is a problem, instead of going, we're all here for the same goal. Even in your workplace, right? You have all these different personalities. Every single one of you are there with a common purpose. And it could be, I want to make this business flourish. It could also be, I'm just here to do my 9 to 5. I need the money, as most of us do. And when I'm done, that's the whole purpose of this job. But to know that everybody's driven by these same kind of desires, and I think sometimes we lose touch with that, right? And we just see these are the differences, these are the sides.
The positions,
This is why you're different than me. It takes me back to a story of, I don't remember where I seen it or where I read it, but essentially it was like this man that all he did was like notice the things he didn't like in life, right? So salt and vinegar chips, I hate salt and vinegar chips, and rock music, I hate rock music. And so many of us define ourselves by the things we don't like, instead of defining ourselves by the things we do like. So instead of saying I hate salt and vinegar chips, maybe it's I prefer all dressed chips. Do you know what I mean? Because it becomes a little bit more inclusive. And I just feel like with division and sides and everything, it's, can we find that commonality between us? Can we find, where do our souls connect?
And I like to push those beliefs, right? Of, well, you say you don't like this, but how do you know? Like, people can believe a lot of things and really shelter themselves to this one thing, and not open their minds to the other things that are going on in the world, the other flavors of chips or whatever the case maybe is. I know I don't like this. Well, that's, that's a position. And to say you never, ever, ever would or wouldn't, I think is something it's something that we need to rethink.
Well, to just open your mind to the other possibilities that might be there. For sure. I mean, I don't know why food is coming up so much right now, but
you're hungry?
Not actually. Or in this moment, I don't feel hungry. But perhaps because it's like the easiest example of, like, when I was a kid, I really did not like tomatoes. And then when I was pregnant with my first, I really started craving tomatoes, and I ate a lot of tomatoes, and now I enjoy tomatoes. Do you know what I mean? And so I was able to shift in that positionality. And I think with food, a lot of us do that over time. We start to like new foods, or maybe we don't like foods that we used to like. Cheese slices for me is one that I loved when I was a kid. I could eat them right out of the pack, and now I'm like, ugh. I probably ate too many of them. But I mean, food is a very simple kind of example of it. But then to get into more kind of serious matters, it's, allowing yourself to expand on the belief systems that we've been programmed with.
Well, it's quite, I think, especially with those, it's questioning, where did they come from? There's things that we do that autonomously, we just do them. And we don't even question them. And then, I don't know, I think it's a good thing to question them. Why do I do things this way? Why do I believe this is right or this is wrong.
Yeah, well, and even where did I learn this from?
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because when you actually, we're so lucky that we have access to Google or access to the internet. We can really go down different rabbit holes, and we can understand where things have started from and whatnot. Yeah. And it's so interesting to me, even like quotes and stuff that, what is it? A jack of all trades is a master of none, right? And that's one thing that people have been saying for so long. Yeah. And it's like, oh, right, I need to find one skill and I need to zone in on that and I have to become this master of it. But what most people don't realize is there's a whole other part of that quilt. Cool. Or quote, not quilt.
Could be a quilt, though. You don't know.
Could be. But there's a whole other part of that quote that says, but often less satisfied than a master of none.
A master of one.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure.
A jack of all trades is a master of none, but often less satisfied than a master of one.
Yes.
Yes. That's how the quote goes. What did I say?
Master of none.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I view
same idea.
And it is such a great quote.
It is, when the fullness of it is there.
Right.
Because I thought for the longest time, I do need to figure out what is my one skill set that I can bring to the world. But then it ends up cutting me off from all of the other skill sets that I have and things that help me flourish in other ways, because it's like, oh, I've got this piece from here and this piece from here, put them together, and now it's a whole brand new thing.
And I think that quote perfectly fits this conversation, because It's like a jack of all trades, master of none. That is a great thing.
Yes.
And being a master of one trade, sure, is a great thing as well. But you don't get as much diversity being a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the best at this, and you know nothing about these other things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think there's so much identity that people kind of draw in on. Like, if I believe this one thing, right? Now you've got all these other people who also believe in this one thing, and now you've got an identity.
Yeah.
Right? I am a feminist, or I am a religious guru, or whatever it might be. This is who I am.
Yeah.
But in that, and actually David R. Hawkins talks about it too, with like the I know this. Yeah. Right? And as soon as we go, oh yeah, I know that. I don't need to remember that. I know it. Then we actually stop ourselves from being able to expand on it. And I feel like it's the same with any identity. And I know you've always been kind of anti-label with things.
Yes.
Yes. But in that anti-label or that anti-identity, then you actually get to expand in who you are. And it's the same with those sides. It's just being able to see both sides and go, okay, you can both be right. That's hard.
It is. And just to elaborate a little bit for everybody about the anti-label, it's more anti-division, right? As soon as we start putting labels on things, we've now created that good, bad, whatever.
An idea of what that label means, right? Which is based on what so if I said you're a man, right? And that's a label that you probably identify with. And now I've got my own stories of what does it mean to be a man, right? And what does it mean that he's a man? And now I've got this whole backlog of information about that whole thing that you might not identify with 3/4 of the things that I believe about men. Yes. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the anti-label message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it is more about removing the division. Again, we put a label to something, now we've given it this, whatever that is, whatever your perspective of a man or whatever that thing is versus this thing. Now we've created sides. Now we've limited our beliefs because now I'm on a side, or I've labeled this as this.
Yeah.
Even though this can be whatever this is, you've put something on it that means something from some other perspective or whatnot.
A story or... Yeah.
So by not labeling things, you really leave things open to that interpretation at that time, because, I mean, things change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to say this is this is a cup and is always going to be a cup. I don't know, a million years ago, maybe it wasn't a cup. Maybe it was called something else.
Yeah.
And there's a different idea of what that something else looks like, or, is.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That, but it also plays into the verses, right? So when you have those sides and you label something, like we have these two teams, they both have labels.
Yeah.
You do pick sides, and it is hard not to.
Well, yeah, and it's so interesting to watch, because I don't watch baseball most of the time, and so to jump in on the bandwagon or whatever. We're in Ontario, Canada, so it makes sense for us to cheer for the Blue Jays, and it's exciting, and you can see all these people coming together and whatnot, and perhaps I'm not a good fan, because there is that part of me. I want everybody to be able to win.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
And I think that's like the whole point of us going out and being with people is to experience that togetherness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to what we were saying about just being in that energy, and we're all in this together. We're all in this common bond.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what most of us crave, right? Is just to have that togetherness, to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, all with a common goal. And it's just exciting when it's like a sports team or something where it's like it gets exciting. They get a point and you're like, yeah, and everybody cheers, and you're in that kind of endorphin state, and it's so nice to be able to just do that with people. It's the same with going to a concert, right? Where everybody gets excited for the same songs that the artists have made and whatnot, and
what I did find interesting this week is all of the verses bits that came up, where it was like, it started with the baseball, and then it was like every little thing.
It was like, it's this or that.
It's be on one side or the other. And I think, we're seeing kind of past that, where it's like, yes, okay, we understand that there's sides, and the other one was Kendrick versus Drake.
Yeah.
And it's like
LA versus Toronto, Kendrick versus Drake.
It's seeing past that and going, it's the togetherness, it's that unity, not versus each other. We can be in this together.
It's interesting
too. This energy.
Now that you bring up Kendrick and Drake and that whole kind of feud that was happening between them, and you just listening to Kendrick's one line, they not like us, right? That is the division. And that is what most of us do, is look at, how are they not like me?
Well, and that's what with the whole verses, I think we're kind of bypassing that, right?
Yeah.
We are picking a side, but we're not hard tied to, we're fanatic Blue Jay fans.
Yeah. And life is not over tonight if we don't get the way that we want to have it to be.
Yeah. And I think people are just trying to add more to that without seeing the importance of that unity, that you're bound together by this special event.
Yeah.
And even to take that farther, we can't even see that with life. Like you said, there's grocery shopping or Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
And people are doing this.
Yeah.
They're not going, hey, we're having a great time here. Good job. You got a great present, or you got a great ham, or whatever you got at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Or just even to regular life. We're not cheerleading each other on unless it's a special event.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the event.
Every single moment is a special event. It's all that there is. And yet we bypass it because we're often not even actually present in the present moment.
Yeah.
We're thinking of all the other stuff we need to do, or all of the stuff that we didn't do, and all the people that we think are in our way now because we're trying to do this thing. Yeah, it's interesting.
It is, and I know that there's an ego piece that comes in there too, because that kind of binds you to some of these sides where we've been so programmed that this is the way things have to be, and it's life or death, and it's not, but it feels that way. especially to a lot of people, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I remember right before we went on the first Camino, I was like, I feel like I'm entering the state of neutrality. Like I was able to kind of see like nothing is good or bad, everything just is. And I announced out loud that I had entered this state of neutrality. Yeah. And then life happened, and it showed me just how non-neutral I actually was.
Well, we'll just push this a little bit.
Oh, you think you're non-neutral? Here, go into this really big experience and see where you can find neutrality in this. And I couldn't. I was very much, I had all my positions, even positions that I thought I had healed from. They all just kind of came up in my face, and it was really hard at that time to try and let go of the good or bad. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I was seeing everything as very black and white, very good and bad, acceptable, not acceptable, right, wrong, and just trying to make sense of so much of all of it, and I feel like a lot of us go through that, especially when you're going through kind of big experiences.
And here's that point of, we take it personal.
Oh, absolutely.
We take it so personal that, like, some of these things, that it is an attack on me. Everything is against me.
Yeah.
And that's
that's totally how I experienced it. Yeah. And I hear that a lot from people too, where it's like, I'm doing all the right things, I'm saying all the right things, I'm reacting in all the right ways, but it's still not creating a different experience, right? But we get so attached to this idea of what is right. What is the right way to move through this?
And I think we get attached to looking for that magic bullet, the magic pill, or whatever, the thing that's going to make this. And it is your mind. It is a way. It's changing the way of thinking about the things you thought were right.
Yes.
Or wrong, or whatever.
Yes.
Whatever position you had, challenge those things.
Yeah.
If you have a hardline position on something, why do you have that? And look into that.
Yeah.
And just continue to pursue that. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I just had a great thought. The idea of that thing that you want, right? Going, this thing is the answer. This is the thing I'm after. And everything that prevents me from having this thing is a part of the problem, right? But if we are the creators of our lives, which we are, so under that premise, I am the creator of my life. Why am I creating so many obstacles between me and this thing that I want? And truly, what are the obstacles within me that tell me I don't deserve to have what I want, or that it's not in alignment yet? And
that's you creating that division within yourself, right? That you're not at this point to deserve this piece.
Yes.
That you've created.
Yes, this desire that you have outside of yourself, because that's really what it comes down to. It's these things outside of yourself, but you have to find that unity within. And so even as we talk about sides out here, it's where are you within yourself? Where is the alignment happening within yourself? Where are you on different sides? Because I don't know about you, but there's times where I'm like, I can understand, love is the answer. But I don't know how it fits into this piece over here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's hard for me to love this one thing. And that's where I've been trying to soften the edges around my love. But because it's all an inside job.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very much an inside job. And I would go back to those pieces that you absolutely feel 100% confident and right in. I know this to be true.
Yeah.
As much as we want to challenge that, and it's not really trying to prove it, but it is just whatever. This is, this is what we do.
Yeah.
It's to challenge the other side of that too. Okay, what if this is wrong?
Yeah.
What if your good, quote unquote, is really bad?
Yeah.
Try to look at it from, and this is every situation, is like, and I don't say you can get stuck in a spiral where it's like, questioning everything.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anybody should go down that road, but people do. And I mean, it's more stick to, when you know. And it's hard for me to, and I think it's hard for you to say that, when you know.
Yeah.
But it's hard to put that into words. You just know. You know it in your body when something is right.
Yeah.
There's nothing that needs to be proven. There's nothing that needs to be, justified or anything. That you just know.
Yeah.
And let that just be the way it is.
Yeah. But I think, too, that when you're following that knowing and you're going, okay, I'm just going to do whatever it takes, right? But then also letting go of the idea of whatever it takes. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Because I know I'm using the Camino as an example again, but with that first Camino, I was like, I've done all the right things that I was supposed to do, so I don't understand why I've got this outcome that I have. Mm-hmm. And then with the second one, it was like, okay, let me meet all parts of me inside of me that have prevented this from being able to happen. I'm going to do whatever it takes. But now I actually am not so attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
That there's whatever this is going to look like is what this is going to look like. I'm being called towards it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm following the knowing. And it whatever it turns out to look like, I'm just going to accept it as it is. Mm-hmm. And allow that to be. Where I think for a lot of people, and even for myself, there's been so many times where you get this kind of, this is what I'm moving towards. Yeah. And then you've got stuff that shows up that's like, well, why is this even happening? And you get so angry, right? And like you said, you take it so personally, as though God has just, pinpointed you out of 8 billion people and all of the plants and animals and rocks and ocean drops and stars and everything, and went, this is the one that I'm going to put all the blocks in their path to make life hard for them, to refine them or whatever. And we get so angry about that, and we sometimes kick up our heels and go, I'm not doing anything then. Yeah. I'm just going to accept that this is the way life is. And it's like, it's really not that personal.
And it's interesting. It is really interesting because we do that to ourselves, right? And it's funny. It's nothing else doing it to you.
Yeah.
You are setting an expectation, and I've thrown this one around a few times about, don't have any expectations, try not to do this, that, and the other thing, but it's like, just try to be like the water.
Yeah.
Sure, we have wants, we have ideas, we want to do these things, that, and whatnot, but don't be so tied to it that it's gonna crush you.
Yeah. If
something is truly meant to be, it will be.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And you just have to trust that will be in alignment when it needs to be in alignment.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. It's so hard to say that, live that, but it is the truth. Like, we've seen it time and time again where it's like, okay, just trust in the process, trust in this. And it does this one thing that it's like part of that knowing. I know if I trust in the process, it will do what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Good or bad, that's not for me to decide.
Yeah. And what the process is supposed to look like, right? We've got our very limited human idea of what the process should look like, or what the path should look like to get us from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And we have no idea. When I think about when I have a vision of something that I want to call forward, right? And all of the little pieces that need to be at play to bring that vision forward. And then I get impatient, right? I'm like, oh my God, it's been 5 days and I still don't have it. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like there's a person over in Australia that actually needs to do this one thing, which is going to open up all of these other doorways for this. Like, it's so intricate. There's so many moving pieces, and it's letting go of that human idea of what my life is supposed to look like, and just trusting that how it's showing up is all a part of that divine plan.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. It's something that we don't take into consideration. We think, or our ego thinks, we are on this journey. This is our journey. This is your journey. We don't affect each other.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking broadly of everybody, globally. We think it's just, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. There's a whole world that is influencing us, right? And we all play a part in everybody's existence.
Yeah.
And we just bypass that no, this is just, it's just me against the world. And we're just here.
Yeah.
And being a part of this world.
Yeah. And I'd like to ask myself, like, what am I contributing to the world? How am I contributing to the world? Because especially, and this is the part nobody really likes to talk about sides and stuff, right? Everybody likes to think they're on the right side.
Yeah.
Right? And I had a thought that came up last night where it was like, oh, I'm contributing that to the collective, where when we were talking about like people gathering together and how awesome it is for people to gather together, and then the lights went out in the stadium, and my first thought was, there's an attack of some sort that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And we had that experience at New Year's a couple years ago where it was like, oh my God, there's an attack about to happen. And in an off way there was, but like nothing like what you see on the news or anything. But just knowing that I have that belief inside of me, I've got this part of me that believes if lights go out or big loud noises start to happen when people are gathering, there's something awful about to happen. And I've got that alive in me. Now I need to clear that, or it's my opportunity to clear that, so that I'm not contributing that fear to society or to the collective anymore. And I question how many of us have those beliefs, because I said to you, like when people get together, something bad happens, right? And we can look at like when family gets together, is there always an argument? And if there's always an argument, well, then you might have that belief system. So then why would we ever want unity?
Yeah.
Right? And so, it's an invitation to myself to clear that from my beliefs.
That dual or the dichotomy, whatever.
Of togetherness.
Of togetherness.
Yeah.
Was like, we're excited to be out, be around people, but, this could happen. And here's another part to that is that thing that we're labeling as bad, there's going to be an attack. It's not really bad. Mm-hmm. And hear me out.
That's where
hear me
we
out.
both have a hard time with that one, even though we know it to be true. It
is just an experience.
Yeah.
And it is a needed experience for whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it is very difficult to say it is not bad because
there's a lot of suffering that happens from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as same as people getting together and being in that good energy, that feel good energy and cheering and whatnot, as much as there's a place for that, there is a place for the other side.
Well, and I mean, we can look at some big world history events that have happened where there's been a lot of people all at once who have gone through a suffering of some sort.
Yeah.
And even in that, there is a togetherness that happens because it's like the whole world starts to mourn for this one event, for strangers that they've never even met before, and they just go, oh, my heart goes out to their families, my heart goes out to the kids, my heart goes out to whatever you're most affected by, right? And I guess perhaps that's where that divinity piece comes in through that as well, is we start to think or feel for these strangers that it's like, I don't know who they are, but this is really affecting me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it generates something, right? Where like that's what I'm saying, on both, you get that feel good energy that's it generates this happiness and this love. And on the others, there's still that love because now, but it's triggered in a different manner.
Yes. Right? It's like that grief is crying out for love's remembrance.
Triggered in a non-preferential way.
Yeah.
But needed to be brought forth for whatever that is. And maybe it's a collective message that everybody needed to hear, or a part that, we kind of ignore. And it's just bringing light that, hey, we can be better this way.
Yeah. Well, and it helps to bring that up too when it comes to sides, because we often think, like the best emotions to be in is like joy and love and happiness and acceptance and forgiveness and peace, and like they all feel great, but shame, judgment, fear, anger, grief, all of that, it's just as equal as these. It just feels completely different.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it was when I was reading David Hawkins, he was talking about how when you're mad, not to bottle up, because we live in a real world and you get mad about things and scream it out. Like, however you want to get that out of you, get it out of you.
Yeah.
And when you're left with, start paying attention to that. Once you're done screaming, kicking, hitting the floor, whatever it is, and you're physically tired from being angry.
Yeah.
What are you left with? Right?
Yeah.
And you'll start to see that you start going through this process where it's like, okay, well, I'm still here. The anger's now gone. Yeah. This is now, and you start to see things a little more clearer as to, okay, maybe I wasn't right, or maybe this wasn't, but you need to have that release to get to.
Yeah. Well, and we've been taught so often that anger is such a dangerous emotion, right? And that it's not okay to express it, because unfortunately, most people, when they express anger, they are attacking someone else, right? Yeah. Instead of kind of taking full responsibility for what their anger is. I've got anger. I need to express my anger. I don't need to attack anybody. I don't need to render anyone else powerless, because that's ultimately what it is. I'm feeling powerless. Yeah. I'm feeling attacked. So now my anger needs to come over so that no one can get me. But in that, we often end up hurting others.
Yeah. And that's not... I was speaking more of like, you get mad, you deal with it yourself. You don't displace it to somebody else. Yeah. You take that, and for everybody else, you get rid of it however you get rid of it. If it's through conversation, if it's through understanding, if it's through kicking the script, whatever that vice or the way that you deal with it is. Yeah. Don't put it on somebody else, because then you're not really getting rid of that anger. We're making it bigger, right? We're giving it more of a voice, and we're transcending it to somebody else. Yeah. And
I just had a client this morning where we were talking about the energy of anger and the suppression of anger that she's been doing, and it goes back through generations of her family where no one ever displayed anger, right? But now her body's reacting with inflammation and some stomach issues and stuff, and it's so amazing. Especially, it's interesting because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like for men, it's okay for them to show their anger. Like, men get to be physically, aggressive when they're boys, and this is just the way boys are and stuff, where girls need to kind of sit and be nice, and we're not allowed to like punch and kick and scream and stuff, even though we still have that desire to do that, right? And so I feel like for a lot of women, we suppress it, and then when we do express it, then people just assume that either A, we're on our period, or that we're just bitchy that day, or whatever it might be. But it's almost like we haven't welcomed people to express their anger. And even men at a certain age, it's like, well, now you need to be a man, and you don't get to express your anger the way that you once did. Yeah.
I do think we are getting to more of an equilibrium on that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Where people do have a lot of freedom to express, regardless, male, female, anger, however you want to.
We have rage rooms now. They're fantastic. Yeah.
And there's no, you have to be a certain way. But speaking of that, I mean, there is people that are still here and still stuck in those generations, right? Yeah. Still stuck in those ideals of, it's acceptable of this, and this is acceptable, and this is not acceptable. Yeah. And it's looking at those and going, well, what makes that acceptable? And it doesn't, and even that is changing that perspective. Yeah. This is how I was brought up, whatever, this was acceptable. Not that it's not acceptable anymore, but there's a different way to deal with those things. And
yeah, like essentially we don't have to yell and scream and belittle people and render people powerless and stuff just because we're in our anger. And I actually remember you saying to me quite a few times, like, get in touch with your anger. get in touch with your anger, because I would automatically go into tears, and you could go into anger, but you couldn't go down into the tears. Yeah. And so we both had to get in touch with these different aspects of ourselves and learn how to express that instead, because it doesn't matter if it's suppressing anger or suppressing grief or suppressing fear or whatever those emotions are, that it's like, oh, I can't show this part of me, right? All these parts are acceptable, but this part isn't. Again, it's just creating more division within yourself. And it's part of my wholeness is I have shame. Yeah. Part of my wholeness is I have fear, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's accepting all of those pieces equally, and they all have their place, right?
Yeah.
And going back to our topic of verses, I mean, all of that starts within.
Yes.
You know, we are all together. We are all one.
Yeah. We
create the division. We create it within ourselves, and then we propagate it out.
Yeah.
And then we get people on our side.
Yeah.
But we're still the ones creating that. And that goes for every individual.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what most people aren't even aware of is, like, when we start off in this world as like a brand new baby, we don't hold any positionalities. We're just this newborn baby, and we're seeing the world for the very first time through fresh eyes. And, you know, there's such an innocence that's there. And then life happens. And it's not happening to us. It's just happening. But our mind makes up belief systems around the things that are happening from as early as when we're inside of our mother's stomach.
Yeah.
Like it starts early.
And, you know, I would challenge that it probably starts before then.
Well,
I mean, these are I know scientifically these are the things that we can prove.
Yeah.
But I would have to think that their influence, collective influence, starts before you're in the womb or anything.
Okay.
I would say, because, you know, you're coming from two entities. When you think about a baby being born, we both have had lives. We both have perspectives. We have positionalities. We have all this fun stuff that's packed into these bodies. We're then taking that and putting it together. Yeah. So some of these things are going to mix. Some of them are going to work together. Some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And
then we've
that influence is ingrained in the DNA.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we respond to that without realizing we're responding to that, or we have that belief system that's already running. And then when we have the first experience, say, of abandonment, right? And abandonment, it could be that, your parents left you alone for a weekend when you were a week old. That could be your abandonment. Yeah. It could also be your mother put you in the crib and walked away, and you woke up and were crying, and she was in the shower and didn't come back to you for 15 minutes. But as a new baby, 15 minutes would feel like an eternity of crying and not getting the needs met. Yeah. And then creating belief systems of, I'm here to suffer, there's no one here to support me, I am abandoned, my voice doesn't matter. Like, it can be as simple as that.
Yeah. And it goes back to taking it personal, right? Like,
yes.
It is, we're never abandoned. And I will say, I struggle with that piece, right? There's some abandonment, and not, again, I know we've talked about this before, and not like, oh, I was left on the road or anything like that. These are things
just the human experience of abandonment. Yeah.
But then digging deeper into it and realizing you're never alone. You're never... Yeah. The energies are there. Yeah. So that dissolves all of that. When that abandoned piece that we've attached so many things to, victimhood and all these other things, you can dissolve that. Yeah. But you have to have that faith and belief that, you know, this energy that we have, this energy that we're in, this energy that we are, is eternal. It's limitless. It is together. It is all. It is one. And all of those things that you've now made up or supported your ego with, are a lie, or are mistruth. Yeah.
But I think it's like... Because most people are operating from the standpoint of, I'm an individual, and this is my life experiences, and this is what my life experiences have told me about me. Yeah. These are the psychological reasons. These are all the labels that make me up and help me to understand me. And when you say, we're all just this energy and we've never actually been separated, it's like, yeah, I get that. But I also know an old version of me absolutely would have been like, no, but my abandonment.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, again, the hill that I want to die on, right? Where what you've just said gives me the belief of I am never alone. I am always fully supported by the divine, by source energy, etc. And that's how beautiful is that? Yeah. And my ego is like, but you were abandoned here and there was no one there at that time and you had no one to talk to at that time. And that's really what you need to focus on. And so anybody who's listening at home, who's gone through whatever experiences you've gone through that have made you feel abandoned, it's okay if you're feeling some resistance to what he's saying. I get it. And you also get it too. That's the funny thing.
I lived it, right?
Yeah.
This isn't like, I've always been this way. I remember feeling those emotions of abandonment. Mm-hmm. I remember feeling feeling alone.
Yeah.
And being upset about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I came to that realization and through the work and doing Compassion Key and doing a bunch of reading through with David Hawkins and just going, wow, that's when it hit. And it was just like, you almost feel a regret for all of the time that you've wasted on things that are not true, that you've made out to be such a big story in your life. And it's like,
yeah, and again, I come back to, why is that the hill you want to die on? Like, why? And here's the thing. I had this idea of abandonment running in my life for the longest time, too. And ultimately, it came down to feeling like God had abandoned me without realizing it was just me who turned from God as soon as I didn't like the way life was showing up. And then blaming God for abandoning me, but I abandoned God, and I abandoned my own God source within and allowed myself to fall into victimhood, to go, oh, do you see how horrible this is? Because the ego is very dramatic, and it was very much the ego that was showing up, and that's okay. No positionalities there. But we create it for ourselves. And and I think the victim stance, the victimhood stance, it's so loud.
Yeah.
It's probably the loudest form within us is, look at me, I'm the victim.
Yeah.
This is how horrible everyone has been to me.
Yeah. Look at what everyone has done.
Yeah. And look at how innocent I am.
Yeah.
I have not contributed anything to this.
I'm just here.
Yeah. And ultimately, I would love to believe in that innocence of you, that you've never done anything to contribute to the way your life is showing up or whatever. But ultimately, we're all creators, whether we're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's questioning or asking myself, what do I want to create for myself now? And if there's anything showing up.
And not just yourself, right? Like I truly believe whatever we create, we're creating together. Not just, I'm not speaking of you and I'm speaking of that unified energy, right? Whatever we bring forward and we create is for everyone.
Yeah.
And how that transcends, and it's that butterfly effect and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I do think that all of those things that we create are beneficial, and even the things we destroy are beneficial.
Yeah.
Or are and it's hard to say that they're beneficial, but they do serve a purpose.
Well, I mean, to just bring it back to that abandonment piece, for you to destroy your abandonment piece, if you want to talk about destructing something, you destroyed that abandonment piece that was very much alive in you, and then created this relationship with source energy to go, I'm actually never alone. And so destruction, we hear that and we think, oh, that's bad, right? But if it's destruction of the small story, actually, that's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why wouldn't I want to destruct all of the parts of me that tell me I'm not enough, that tell me I'm unworthy, that tell me I'm unsupported? Those are the parts that it's like, let's dissolve that.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
They served a purpose, but now you can serve even more of a purpose in trusting that, hey, I'm supported. Yeah. I'm not alone. Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I tend to be. Just jokes.
There's truth to that. We're all great.
Yes.
You're not special. And neither am I, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very interesting that, the week that we've had in the verses, and it just kept coming up. And that's why we decided to talk about it. It's like when we start to see patterns of things where it's like this versus that. And
there's a lot.
We gave a few examples, but there was a lot more than just those few that we gave as an example. But it was important for us to talk about the different positions and being on different sides and really highlighting what are you actually looking for when you create those sides. Looking past both sides and the unity and the energy, it's going back to source, right? That's really what we're craving, or that's what that is emulating, is that togetherness.
Absolutely.
The sides dissolve because now we're all in that energy, we're all in that excitement, we're all in that whatever.
And I think as you heal yourself and you do the inner work, you start to lessen the kind of sharpness to all of the sides on the outside, right? Like as you meet these parts of yourself that you've shunned or pushed to the side or suppressed in some way, and you're like, yeah, this part of me is welcome here too, and you're welcome here too, or whatever, then you start to kind of naturally dissolve all of the stuff on the outside that it used to get you all worked up.
And I agree, and you see it in people, and it's where at one point in time that may have bothered you about this person, it dissolves as fast as it did within yourself, right? If you've dealt with it and you see it in other people, you have that compassion and understanding, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, going back to anger, like a few years ago, any anger that people displayed in front of me, I would get very freaked out by. Like it just, my nervous system could not handle that. And just this past week, talking about sides, I had two people in my life who were very much in a big energy of anger. And when they were expressing their anger to me, not at me, but it was things that they were angry about what was happening in their lives. And they got into really big, angry energy and yelling and screaming and slamming their hands and whatnot. And an old me would have completely recoiled and been upset and for hours.
Felt like you're getting in trouble or...
reacting in a very kind of victim-y way. And I think because I've been able to meet so much of my own anger and found ways to actually be with my anger without trying to suppress it or allowing it to just explode all over, it has allowed me to witness their anger and to just be like, it's not personal. They just need to get this out. This is just where they are at. And there's a detachment that happens, but in that detachment, there's also a lot of love to be able to go, this is welcome here.
You're seeing it in its entirety, right? You're seeing the process. And I do remember a time where I talk loud naturally, but there was times where you would say I'm yelling, and I'm like, I'm not yelling.
But it was just the decibel.
Your nervous system is being triggered by that volume or the way things are said. And I don't see that. I've seen interactions with you where people are upset and you're very
I know, it's so different. It's so different.
I have to say, I'm going to toot my own horn because I've had similar. I've had a few instances where people were upset and yelling at each other, and I used to get, you match that energy, and now it's like, no.
To be able to observe it.
Just okay.
Well, and I remember years ago hearing from different spiritual teachers and stuff that you could stay in a state of calm, it's an inside job, and I'd be like, I really don't know what you're talking about. Do you not see what's happening in the world? And you haven't met my family. If you knew my family. And it is so interesting that we can both be in this state of peace despite what's happening around us, but only because we've been willing to actually meet those parts within ourselves. And even, I think too, I don't want to like sweep that under the carpet of, we've been able to witness in each other what needed to be witnessed and what needed to be loved in order to be able to start witnessing that in other people.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of beautiful.
I do absolutely agree with you, Ben. Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And bring it back to sides, because now I think at one point in our relationship, you used to always say, you know, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. And I had a really hard time receiving that and believing that and trusting that, because what I was seeing is we're not on the same team. You're pitching to that guy and I'm over here or whatever. Like it felt like we were very much on different teams. Only because we weren't communicating properly. That's essentially what it was coming down to. But now I can honestly say, yeah, we're on the same team, but only because we've been willing to actually like practice together the game that we're trying to play together, you know. And when it comes to your partnerships, your relationships and all of that, to remember that you're on the same team. Yeah. You know, you both have a common goal, hopefully, that you want to build a good relationship with each other, that you know, want to love each other, or you want to get to old age together, or whatever it might be, and to use that as, this is why I'm willing to meet all of these different parts of you.
And I think even taking that even farther is, you know, we are all on the same team.
Yes.
Our intimate relationships, absolutely, you know, it's something that us working on, and we can see it in like real time. Yeah. But remember, we collectively have that for your neighbor, have that for your stranger, have that for, we are all trying to do the same thing. We all just want to be happy, and we all just want to, you know, be loved and supported. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so interesting too, because I find there's so many people that when I come in, and I am just a more naturally loving person. I always have been. You're too nice, you're too kind, blah, blah, whatever. But now it's like, no, this is just actually who I am. I want to love on people. I want to help everybody to see just how valuable and worthy they are and whatnot. And it's so interesting to me how many people distrust that. It's like, what do you want from me? Or what's like, what's the catch? What's the you know, I don't quite trust this loving energy, or I don't deserve, or you might see this one good part of me, but like, hey, there's 20 other parts here that you're not seeing, and so you should really probably look at these and stuff. And it's interesting how we, even when love is so available for us, how we don't trust love, how we don't trust unity, how we don't trust other human beings. And I rightfully so, because we've been hurt, or we've heard all of these horror stories of these things that have happened to other people. But ultimately, we're on the same team, you know. Yeah, and all of those things, right, came from somewhere, right? Yeah. So it's just having that understanding. It's like, it's not personal. They're hurt, and they're hurting because they have been hurt, and somebody hurt them, and somebody hurt them, and somebody hurt them. And it really, yes, you could take a side in, and yes, it's not preferable that with those situations when you're in pain or whatever, but it is just having that understanding that it is not personal. Yeah. It's not pleasurable. Yeah. But again, it's not personal. It's not, you know, it's not an attack on you. Yeah. And I mean, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking of like, you know, like when there's been a very badly abused dog, right? And it like kind of goes over in the corner, and the people that are trying to take care of it, they have to like go and they sit in the cage with the dog. Yeah. And they hold food there, but the dog won't even come and get the food. Like they're like, I don't trust you at all. And they just sit there, and they sit there. And eventually the dog kind of starts to warm up, but it can take many days and sometimes even weeks of the dog doing absolutely nothing before that trust starts to get built. And I think us humans are very much the same way, you know? Yeah. So it's, remembering
that people have been destroyed by those human relations, and to be as loving, as kind as possible, and patient. To be willing to sit in the cage with them for as long as it takes for them to finally take the food out of your hands. So anyways.
It's another great chat.
Yes, it was. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. As always, if you guys have any questions, if you want to join in on a conversation, if you have any hot topics that you want us to talk about, send it in. We're always paying attention to the patterns and stuff that are coming up as we go week to week to week with this. So we try and build our topics on that. But of course, if you guys have a topic that you're like, this is what I don't understand, or this is what I need someone to talk about, by all means, send it in, info@compassionwithkatherine.com.
Absolutely. I mean, there's plenty of things that we're willing to share, and we're available, and we'd like nothing more to have somebody else bring on a topic or help. I mean, really, that's what we're looking to do, is just by having these conversations, give some understanding to everyone as well. This is helpful for us as well. It's healing, and that's all we want to do, is just help. So.
All right. So on one last note, I am going to say, go Jays, go!
Whoop, whoop.
Actually, by the time this is posted, they might have won. So, yay Jays! Have a great day, everybody.
Take care, folks.